Hello there, it is Wednesday, it is 8 o'clock here in the UK, so we are about ready to start. I realised that I haven't had my lovely fresh flowers here for a while. I think I've been travelling and it's been difficult to keep things up to date. I haven't even left the house today, I realised, but I've got these lovely colourful cushions, so hopefully that's going to keep the background interesting for you. Hello. So this is our weekly Facebook Live show. Want to give a warm welcome to our new members this week and the last few weeks. Do hope you'll be able to join me at this time. So it's every Wednesday evening, 8 o'clock UK time. So I really hope that works for the majority of you. Of course, whenever you can't come live, then by all means watch the replay. It's even on YouTube if you want to watch it there. It just comes up a bit later. And of course, you can still comment as well in those replays. So if you are watching me later, hello to you. And do please say hi, where you're watching from, comment and ask any questions that you might have. Hello. And anyone who does watch, I'd love for you to say hi, tell me where you are. So I'm going to give the usual weather update. I'm back in London after being in Sweden for a couple of weeks. It has been beautifully sunny. Yesterday it was gorgeous. Today's been quite cloudy. So today I've been indoors all day, boo. But had quite an okay day anyway, and lots of fun this weekend. So last week we were talking all about, or started talking about really, some of the blocks that are keeping us from taking action, either to start a business in the first place or to grow and take that business really seriously so that it becomes a full-time or at least substantial part of our income. And that's something we're going to be continuing to explore, if not forever, then at least certainly for the next few weeks. And because of that, or rather linked to that, I suppose, and in an effort to help you all with this topic, I've just created my first ever Facebook challenge. So hopefully this is going to be fun for all of us. It's a free 5-day challenge that's starting already on Monday. So I did want to spend this evening talking briefly about that, answering any questions. It is open for registration now, and just explaining a little bit about how it's going to help you, if it's going to help you, and how it's going to work and so on. So last week, again, we were talking about some of those things that can get in the way. So we had not knowing what we want to do, analysis paralysis, not knowing how to get started, not really being asked to get started. So there's lots of reasons why we might be procrastinating and moving forwards. However, there are also some really real serious reasons, or justifications at least. I don't want to say excuses because that trivializes them. And funnily enough, I saw a video, if you've heard of Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, I watched a short little video by him yesterday on LinkedIn, and it was, if you know Gary V, he's constantly swearing, so very different style from mine. He's very, very direct. I tend to be more on the one hand, on the other hand, very nuanced. But this particular message I actually thought resonated quite a bit, and I'll see if I can find the link in the comments, because I don't want to use the words he was using and so on. But the point he was making was that a lot of people come to him asking for permission to take a chance, take a risk and so on. And he was saying, all these kind of cliches, I suppose, life is short, go out there, do it. I think it's incredible when I see people taking these chances, living their lives. That's what he recommends. And of course, he used very different words to say that. But what I found very interesting was digging into the comments, and there were thousands of comments. And a lot of them were really positive, saying, oh my goodness, this is exactly what I wanted to hear. Bearing in mind, this is on LinkedIn, so it's not on Facebook, his usual sort of stomping ground, I suppose. LinkedIn is a more professional network with obviously less people potentially open to that kind of message. Hello Serena, hope you're well, good to see you. Just talking about Gary Vaynerchuk and his video over on LinkedIn that I watched. And I was saying that the comments there, a lot of them were very positive, but some were incredibly angry, cross, bitter about his message. They were sort of trivializing him. They were saying, the kind of people who listen to this are idiots and so on. I love LinkedIn too, Serena. I've been really active there recently, so I agree with you. It's a great channel. But to try to stay focused here, I get distracted by your lovely interaction with me, but thank you. The comments, the negative comments is what we were going. I get too positive and excited. So these comments were a lot of them saying, I can't possibly do this because I have a family, a mortgage. This is so inappropriate and completely inconsiderate, selfish, etc., etc. Hello, Sandra. Really glad you could join us. We've literally just started, so don't worry. You've not missed a lot at all. We're just chatting a little bit about a video that I was watching on LinkedIn, and I promise I will link to it because, again, I'm not really doing justice. But this discussion of, on the one hand, this message that we see of, you can quit your job, look at me, I'm on a beach in Thailand, and watch me live my most amazing life, that kind of millennial cliche, the cocktail in one hand, the other hand on the laptop, and that kind of lifestyle, and it's so easy, anyone can do it, just quit your job, it doesn't matter. And I think those kinds of images and messages definitely give this whole area a bad name. But then you have the other end of the spectrum where you've got these people who are so stuck in their world view, they're so uncomfortable with that idea even being a possibility that they refuse even to consider it, and they reject it, they dismiss it as nonsense. And I think, as ever, and this is my personality, there's always, a lot of spectrum in between, lots of nuances, and I think the truth, of course, is somewhere there in between. So we talk about these kind of golden handcuffs, golden cage, and I think, at least my understanding of this, and you guys tell me if you have a different perspective on it, but my understanding is that this is a job that's not necessarily something you hate, it's not terrible in that sense, but it's something that's given you, it's a pretty comfortable job, it's given you a pretty decent salary over the years, you've got the credibility and respect from your peers, and because of that, because of all these years of working with this salary and so on, we've also built a lifestyle around that. So whether it's the big house and the mortgage and the car, certainly here in London, if we're living in London, we're pretty much tied into that kind of lifestyle and that kind of city job. I hear that all the time. Expensive holidays, and unfortunately sort of the darker side of that, drowning our sorrows a little bit at the end of the day, maybe having a few too many glasses of wine, living for the weekends, living for the holidays, really. So this idea that it's sort of our own cage, a cage of our own making. We've been a little bit deceived, I suppose, into creating this cage for ourselves. And it is incredibly difficult to even begin to consider getting out of that, because we have family and we have those mortgages or rental payments. We do have bills to pay. And I think, again, my sort of nuanced perspective of this is all about taking these things very, very seriously. So not rejecting them, not dismissing them in any way, not going for this kind of six-figure beachy lifestyle, but also not sort of staying in that kind of cage, right? And really happy to hear that you agree, Sandra, so we're on the same page. So what we want to do, of course, is look at those considerations and build a business, build a life that works within those parameters. That's my message, at least. I'm certainly never wanting to push someone to quit their job, to definitely start a business. That's the answer to all your issues. No, no, no. It's all about working out what your sort of non-negotiable criteria are. I need at least this amount of money coming in. I need to be prioritising this. I need to be home at that time. Whatever it is, I need to work in this location. The commute can't be longer than that, and so on. And then within your individual parameters, then piece together a plan that is going to get you closer to where you want to be. And the reality is that lots of little steps, and of course that's what I'm always talking about, my brand One Step Outside, but lots of little steps will eventually lead you to have transformed your life to that big crazy scenario without you maybe realising it. But it is sort of making little shifts in the meantime. All of us, and I'm going to actually put a stake in the ground here and say that we do all have the power to make changes. It's easy to say, I couldn't possibly because, and we're sort of justifying to ourselves again, I have no time. And of course we have no time. We're all so busy. It's sort of impossible to imagine. And again, I don't have children, so I apologise. I can't sort of get into this completely, but I certainly see it with people around me, and so I completely understand the lack of sleep, certainly with very young children and so on. But I think we all have these types of things, and we fill the time we have anyway. So all of us are incredibly busy, and I think we need to make some compromises there. And we need to, maybe say no to something that we're doing at the moment. And if we're putting something new onto our plates, we will have to take something off. And perhaps talk to our partner, see if we can outsource something. If we have more money than time, there might be a solution in terms of babysitters, or cleaners is a good one as well, or some kind of assistant support and so on. But I don't want to get too much into the details there, but all this just to sort of share my philosophy. And again, I'll share the Gary Vaynerchuk video, and you can have a look at the comments as well. But I just want to make that really clear that I'm never encouraging people to recklessly quit their jobs, but I am a little bit optimistic in the sense that I do believe that all this that we're dreaming of is possible. And I also believe that as soon as we start taking little actions to do that, we will notice, you know, the massive impact that it has on our well-being, on our happiness, and on our families, the very people we're trying to support. And I often give that metaphor of the oxygen mask on the plane, right? The air steward will say, put your own oxygen mask on first before you help other people. And I think, again, we sort of deceive ourselves thinking that we're doing something for others, for the people around us. But actually, what kind of effect is that having on our family if we're not well, if we're staying late in the office? I have friends who do this, and, you know, staying out with the guys and having drinks late into the evening because you're so knackered and you just need to sort of, again, drown your sorrows and sort of de-stress from that work. You're taking your work with you on holiday and so on. So I think that's incredibly important, and my message is, yes, it's possible. You can take little steps, and let's sort of try to work around those practical parameters and considerations for you. So Sandra, I know that you've joined the challenge, so really happy to see you there. We've got a few more people on the list already. So I just want to talk a little bit more about what we're going to be doing, how that's going to work, and get some more people signed up. So we've got a good group going with some accountability as well here in the Facebook group. So it is a 5-day challenge. It starts on Monday. It's running Monday to Friday, this same time, so 8 o'clock UK time in the evening. And it's going to be here in the group, but you do need to sign up on the link in order to get the workbook and also be eligible to win the prizes. I just want to make sure that we can see that you are doing the exercises so you can really get the output that we're working towards as well. To be completely transparent, my goal for this for you is there's two aspects to it. On the one hand, you're going to be doing a lot of soul searching, and on the other hand, you'll be doing some really practical considerations. I want to reassure everybody that it's, 5 or 10 minutes an evening max, apart from watching, the live, which you can of course do as a replay as well when it works for you, but it is just a few minutes every day. So it's by no means massive, long exercises and things that you need to work on. So hopefully that's reassuring to you. But it will be every evening, 8 o'clock UK time here in the group. You can sign up at onestepoutside.com/join the challenge. And of course, I'll drop the link, lots of difficult words to say, drop the link here as well so people can sign up. So what else to say? So we will be working through exactly these blocks, really thinking about those common things. I don't have the money, or I'm not going to earn enough money. I don't have the time, I don't know how, and so on. Of course, it is just a week, so we're not going to be able to get you all the way from I have no idea to this is my plan and I'm earning 6 figures. That's certainly not what I'm promising. But my hope is really, and again, coming back to the outcome, that you'll be able to make that kind of red pill, blue pill decision. So those of you who are still a little bit, but do I quit or do I stay with this? Or perhaps you've already quit and you're thinking, do I stay with this business or do I go back to a job? And it's just to get super clear on what is important to you, what's not working today, what do you want to change, and are you committed to make that change? It's not going to happen today, but you will be able to do it tomorrow. So what steps then do you need to take to be able to get there? Oh, good. Really happy to hear that it's a good time. It's always hard to have something that works for everybody. I think in Europe at least, it's a good time. The kids are in bed and we're back from work. We've had time for dinner and so on. So hopefully that's a good time. So just going to check my notes to see what else I want to talk about, and of course ask your questions if you have anything that you want to ask. I think again, in terms of who it's for, it could be that you are in that full-time corporate job, you're maybe sort of dabbling in something along the side and you're a bit hesitant to take it really seriously, or again it could be that you're doing, some of us work part-time freelancing or consulting and so on, but we have this passion that we want to build into something bigger. It could be all sorts of moments along that journey, and I think this hopefully is going to reassure you build your confidence and take you that little step closer. And again, it's the blue pill, red pill, and I keep saying that from the Matrix. I can't remember which pill was which pill, but my point is, what I want you to get to is a commitment. And I don't mind either way. I'm not emotionally attached, although I'd love for you to, you know, fulfill your dreams and create that freedom and fulfillment outside of the 9 to 5, as I call it. But what I want you to do is make a decision either way. So either, yes, I know I can do this, it's going to be tricky, I need to work hard, I'm going to need to get help and so on, but I am going to do it, and I'm going to set a goal that 3 months from now, 6 months, a year from now, whatever it is, I am going to make this work, and begin to sort of outline the steps you need to do to get there. Or equally fantastic as a decision is, no, it's not possible for me financially right now. I don't feel confident with this at all. For now, I'm committed to staying in my job, and I'm going to do that again and for another 6 months, a year, whatever. And it is such a relief to make that decision either way. I couldn't be happier for people who make the decision that, you know what, this is just not for me right now, and really settle into their job and make the most of that. Maybe have the possibility to leave the office a little bit earlier because you know that, you know, your heart isn't quite in it perhaps, or actually make the most of it in the sense of go full speed in, take all the courses you can, learn, you know, enjoy the work, enjoy the place you're in. So hopefully that's useful. So either way, whichever way you make that decision, I want you to make sure that you make a commitment either way. So in terms of, Sandra here is saying that you're trying to transition to freelancing. We'll talk about that because I think that's an amazing transition step if nothing else, and it could be a longer term way, right? Freelancing by definition is really flexible. You have the freedom to choose your clients, choose your projects. It can be tricky at the moment because we have a tendency to want to say yes to absolutely everything. You know, it's hard to say no when someone is offering you money or a project, but that does come with time as we learn which clients we enjoy and where the most value is coming both from us and from the clients and so on. And it's an amazing way to transition from working full-time in a particular job, say marketing, and using that existing experience and skills to build a client base, to build that freedom alongside, and then eventually, you know, as a full-time endeavor potentially. So I think that's a great idea, Sandra, and hopefully we can help you get there as well. So again, 5-day challenge. I know, Sandra, you're signed up. Hopefully we'll get a few more. I think we've got 4 or 5 at the moment, so we'll get a good group together. It is happening here in the group, but again, to get access to the workbook and the prizes, I will talk more about this next week, but there'll be some simple little things that I'll ask you to share in the group. I certainly don't want you to share any kind of personally confidential or uncomfortable information. Just want to make sure that you're working through the exercises each day, because that's how you'll really get the results. So again, there'll be a little bit of soul searching and a little bit of really practical, hopefully down to earth advice. And of course, because it's live, you'll be able to ask any questions and we can really sort of mold the session for the people who are joining. So hopefully that's going to be useful. And again, the sort of homework is only going to be a few minutes every night, so not to worry that it's going to be too much. So I think I'm going to leave it there. I've babbled on for longer than I'd intended, but I just want to talk a little bit more about that challenge. I'm really excited about it. I think it's going to be a great way to have 5 proper days together live with that workbook, rather than just sort of a bit here and a bit there. We'll be dedicated that week and we'll get you sort of closer to taking that one step as well. So thanks so much for joining. Again, if you're watching the replay, any questions, comments, let me know. Always happy to answer questions, create resources, whatever it is that will help you move forwards. And hopefully you'll join me in the challenge. You'll get the welcome email with all the details, and then on Sunday we'll ping you another email with how it's all going to work next week, and we'll start chatting over here in the group. But thanks so much, Sandra, Serena, for joining live. Hope to see you all soon and look forward to starting with you in the challenge on Monday. Have a lovely evening and see you soon. Bye for now.